Welcome to the deep dive. Today, AI, artificial intelligence. It's everywhere, right?
Mm.
But how did we get here?
It's been a wild ride, that's for sure, and we're just getting started.
Okay, so the research you shared, a peer-reviewed article, International Journal of Technology Policy and Law, they talk about the AI triad.
Yeah.
Algorithms, data, and computing power, like the essential ingredients for modern AI.
Yeah, you need all three. It's like, imagine baking a cake, right?
Oh, yeah.
Your recipe, that's the algorithm. Data, the ingredients. Computing power. Your oven. Gotta have them all working together. Except this cake, it can write poems, maybe diagnose diseases, even drive your car someday.
Powerful cake. But the article, it mentions AI winters. Like, did we run out of ingredients or what?
Huh. Not quite. AI research, it's had this up and down history, like a roller coaster. Big excitement, progress, and then bam, things stall. Funding dries up, disillusionment. That's an AI winter.
So why?
Well, often the tech just wasn't there yet. Ideas, plenty. But computing power. Enough data, not so much.
Okay, but now AI is booming. Did we finally get a super oven?
Sort of. Moore's law, right. Computing power doubles every 2 years, give or take. So our ovens got faster, cheaper, then boom, the internet. Mountains of data, ingredients galore, and then cloud computing. Suddenly everyone's got access to these massive kitchens, right? So we can build these huge AI models, things we could only dream of before.
Huge, like GPT-4. This article mentions it has like 1.76 trillion parameters.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? 1.76 trillion lines of code.
Not exactly. Imagine parameters like connections in a brain. More connections, more complex thinking. In AI, parameters, they represent the model's learning power, how it processes information. So GPT-4, with its trillions of parameters, is like this giant interconnected web, constantly learning, evolving. And to build that, train it, needs incredible computing power.
Sounds pricey.
Pricey, millions of dollars just to train these models, and the energy they use. Mind-blowing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's like, the whole with great power thing, right?
Comes great responsibility. Yeah, the article, it doesn't sugarcoat it. AI bias, privacy, misuse by governments. It's kind of scary.
Oh, absolutely. And there's this thing, the alignment problem. Basically, how do we make sure AI's goals, they match up with human values,
Okay, now we're getting into like sci-fi territory.
But think about it. AI that learns evolves. How do we guarantee it doesn't get its own ideas about how the world should work?
Okay, point taken. So how do we control this thing? Is governance keeping up with all this crazy AI progress?
That's the million-dollar question. See, the traditional model, especially for corporations, it's shareholder profit above all else. Make money, right? But AI is different. It's getting so powerful, intertwined with our lives. That approach, it might not be enough.
Yeah, AI making decisions about our health, our money, our lives. Profit can't be the only concern. What's the alternative?
Well, there's this idea of stakeholder-focused governance, considering the impact on everyone, employees, customers, society. Thinking long-term, not just the bottom line.
Wider perspective. Got it. The article mentioned some companies trying this. OpenAI and Anthropic, what are they doing?
Right. OpenAI, they started as a nonprofit, focused on safe, beneficial AI. Then Microsoft invested a ton of money, and things got a little messy.
Messy how?
Lots of drama, resignations, worries about their mission being compromised. Shows how tough it is to govern something this powerful, even with good intentions.
Paved with good intentions, right? That road. What about Anthropic? What's their angle?
Anthropic, they're a public benefit corporation, legally obligated to consider the wider impact of their work. Not just profits. It's a new model, so jury's still out on how well it'll work long term.
So everyone's experimenting, trying to find the right approach. Kind of reminds me of
The early days of the internet.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to regulate the web. Then social media happened, and we're still dealing with the fallout from it.
Oh, yeah. The article, it emphasizes learning from those mistakes. Social media, so much potential, but it got out of hand. Bias, echo chambers, misinformation.
AI could be even more powerful, embedded in our lives. It's honestly a little terrifying. What are we doing to prevent AI from becoming the next social media disaster?
That's where things get interesting. We're seeing a global regulatory landscape emerge. Different regions, different approaches. The article highlights 3 key players: EU, US, China, each with their own philosophy, their own strategy.
Okay, let's hear it. Break it down for us.
The EU, they're going with this risk-based approach. Their AI Act, it's all about categorizing AI systems, based on how risky they are, like a safety rating, but for algorithms.
So high-risk AI, stricter rules. What counts as high risk, though?
Things that could have a big impact. on health, safety, fundamental rights, like AI in healthcare, self-driving cars, loan approvals, stuff like that, rigorous testing, transparency about their data and algorithms, maybe even some human oversight.
Better safe than sorry.
Yep. And get this, the AI Act, it's not just for companies in the EU, it's for any company whose AI systems are used there. So even a Silicon Valley giant, if their AI is operating in Europe, they got to follow the rules.
Wow, that's a big deal. So what about the U.S.? Same approach. Safety first.
Not exactly. The US is more hands-off, you could say. They're all about like national leadership in AI, research and development, trying to balance innovation with addressing the risks. President Biden, he had that executive order last year, focusing on ethical guidelines for AI development, collaboration between the government and private companies, investing in research to make sure AI is safe and secure.
So less hard rules, more like setting a direction, encouraging responsibility.
That's it. Trusting the U.S. tech industry to do the right thing, with the government providing some guidance, keeping an eye on things. It's a different approach, for sure. But it fits with how the U.S. usually does things. Less regulation, more free market competition.
Makes sense. So China, where do they fit in?
China. They're all about control, surveillance, real identity verification for anyone using AI, and super strict data rules.
Given their current systems, that's not surprising, I guess.
Exactly. They want to know who's using AI, how they're using it, and keep all that data under their thumb. It's different from the EU and the US, but it fits their national strategy.
Okay, so EU's cautious, US is hands-off, China's all about control. It's like choose your own AI adventure on a global scale. But what about the companies actually building all this AI? Are they just waiting for governments to tell them what to do?
That's what's so interesting. There's so much experimentation happening right now, not just with the tech, but with how to govern it. We talked about OpenAI and Anthropic, but the article, it mentions this idea of regulatory markets.
Regulatory markets, now you're just making stuff up.
No. It's a pretty radical idea, though. See, instead of relying only on the government to regulate, which can be slow, you create a market for regulation. The government sets goals like safety, fairness, no bias, right? And then private companies, they compete to provide solutions that meet those standards.
So like outsourcing regulation to experts who are like rewarded for innovating and keeping up with how fast AI is developing.
Exactly. It's like saying, we need AI to be safe and beneficial, but we're not going to micromanage every rule. We'll create a system where the best solutions win. It's new, but people are talking about it.
Wow. This is all so complicated, but I get why it matters. If we mess up AI governance, it could be way worse than the whole social media mess.
Definitely. The article, it really pushes that point. Learn from the past. We can't just assume AI will magically solve all our problems. We got to be thoughtful, careful, even a little skeptical as we, figure this all out.
So what now? What's the big takeaway for like the average person trying to understand all this?
The biggest takeaway, the future of AI, it's not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by what governments do, what companies do, and by how much people know and care about this. We all have a part to play in making sure AI is a force for good.
After this deep dive, I'm feeling a mix of excitement and, yeah, a little bit of fear, to be honest. AI is amazing, but it's also, well, kind of scary to think about what could go wrong.
I get it. It's complicated for sure. But knowledge is power, right? The more we understand AI, its history, what it can do, and the challenges of governing it, the better choices we can make, the better we can advocate for an AI future that benefits everyone.
This has been an amazing deep dive. Really appreciate you explaining all this. I feel like I went from AI newbie to, well, maybe not an expert, but at least I can talk about it without sounding clueless.
Glad to help. And remember, this is just the beginning. Keep learning, keep asking questions, keep diving deep. The future of AI depends on it.